Hi friends out there, this is Jeff Hopper, CEO of Links Players with Jeffrey Cranford, the president of Links Players, and we are continuing some discussions that we're having that we hope are helpful to Links Fellowship leaders and those who participate in Links Fellowships.
Yes.
Just a variety of topics, and so I want to ask you a specific question because I know you and I have had this conversation a little bit. How much of this really is golf ministry?
Well, first of all, I want to tell you a quick story. One of my favorite stories. Jeff taking our calls at National, and I got a call one time, and he recounted the story where a lady had called, and she didn't know what number. She said, "What is this?" And said, "Links Players International." Well, what is Links Players International? She obviously had the wrong number. He said, "Well, it's a golf ministry." And she said, "A golf ministry? That's ridiculous." And she slammed the phone down. Occasionally get those calls. And a lot of people have a problem with that, a golf ministry. You know, we always wear those "What Would Jesus Do?" WWJD bracelets, which I don't personally have, but what would Jesus do? Would he be playing golf? And of course, I don't know what Jesus would be doing if he was here in the 21st century. Probably some very unique things that none of us would expect.
Water polo.
Maybe water polo. But what I can say is that golf is merely a platform. And one of the things that we talk about often, and that Paul said, "I become all things to all men, that by all means some may be saved, or that I may save some," is exactly how he puts it. And so what do we become? It doesn't matter what your platform is. For us, it's golf, because that's our connection with people. Some people never get outside their house, and so they may be connected via internet or Twitter or Facebook or whatever. For us, and for those who find themselves and would refer to themselves as Links Players, they have some connection to the golf world. They are very active in playing, they're in the business, tour player, whatever it is, but they have some kind of a platform with people. They have some kind of connectivity with people. So the golf provides us with the connectivity. Once that connection has been made, golf begins to quickly decrease as a function of importance in terms of the ministry. And our real goal is in a Links group is to have God's Word in some way go out and be disseminated so lives can be transformed by God's Word. And so that's the primary, but the golf is an integral part of that. Without golf, there's no connection. Without connection, there's no way to be able to speak and communicate the gospel. So are we a golf ministry? Yes. Is golf a functional part? Yes, in terms of the beginning parts. But once that connection's been made, certainly decreasing. Now, some of our groups enjoy playing golf together. There's some inter-club play. Some people get together and play as a primary thing. But again, that really is serving the purpose of connecting people as opposed to being a real part. So when people think golf ministry, we're not there to bring the latest golf digest and talk about swings and all those kinds of things. That's really not typically what happens in a Links group in any way, although there's nothing wrong with talking about your golf swing. But it focuses back on Jesus and the gospel.
You lead Links Fellowships. I lead Links Fellowship. And my question would be, how often do you have a fellowship meeting where you say nothing about golf? Fairly often.
I would actually say that would be between 95% or upwards, where golf is really not an issue. Now, I still compete a little bit, and some of the guys on our staff still compete in whatever level, and Jeff recently played in some tournaments. And so golf comes up as maybe some conversation before or after, but actually once we start the meeting, we're praying for one another, we're loving one another, we're getting some updates on what guys are doing in terms of a prison fellowship or being involved in FCA or being involved in something, the kindling compassion for the poor and needy part of our Links acrostic. And so as that begins to increase, and then certainly getting into the Word, which is the primary. So it's fellowship, yes, but typically it starts to go around what guys are involved in terms of their involvement in the kingdom, and then obviously being in the Word. Golf is truly incidental. And I'll be honest with you, in some of our groups, we've never played golf together. And we've got a lot of groups that you find that the guy's a social member of the club, or somebody comes from outside and he's a friend, and they're not even golfers, which is fine in terms of once they get there. Still, having said that, golf is our platform. It's our launch point.
It is, and that's a very interesting thing. I had a young man approach me this morning, or not so young necessarily, but a man approached me this morning at the fellowship that we were at together, and he said, "I'm not really a golfer, but I'm finding this to be an excellent group to meet with." And I think that makes sense in a fellowship. It's interesting because I hear it a lot, even like from our devotional readers, and the devotion almost every single day has some golf connection.
Sure.
And yet I'll hear from people, I've never played golf, but I really like
Right.
the points that are going on here, which speaks to what you and I have talked about very often, what people are looking for, apparently more than anything else when it comes to a Bible study, is someone who's earnestly teaching the Word.
Right.
You know, and so they'll get in there and they'll say, wow, I've tried to connect with these other groups, and it just kind of seems like they're not all that serious about it. And what I'm finding here is that you take the Word seriously, and you really approach it in a way that makes sense to me and encourages me to dig deeper.
Yeah, and I'll tell you one other thing. One of the things that I personally love, and I know Jeff as well, one of the things we love about the Links Players Ministry is that we get such a cross-section of people in terms of their faith backgrounds, if they have a faith background at all. If you think about it, it's very a rare place where people can come where they have, Catholic background or whatever, charismatic, non, and all the different kind of flavors of faith, and they can come together, speak openly about Jesus, and not feel that they're out of place. Mm-hmm. I'm not a Catholic. What am I doing with all these Catholics? Or I'm a Catholic. What am I doing with all these Protestants? Mm-hmm. And I'm at a golf course, or I'm at someone's home in a country club or something, and meeting around that is very liberating and very refreshing. And the cross pollination there is something that we value so much. To have in our Links Fellowship.
Certainly. But I would, in conclusion, say if you are a fellowship leader or a fellowship participant and you're thinking, wow, there's nothing about golf in here today in our study, that's something you don't need to worry about at all.
Right, absolutely.
People came in the door because of golf, but there will be plenty of times when you'll talk about things and golf doesn't come up at all. That's fine, because really golf is subjugated to the study of the Word, and
it's not barely subjugated. It's way down here.
Especially for those of us who have not much of a game.
But anyway, we're thrilled that you're part of a Links Fellowship, and if you're watching this and not part of a Links Fellowship, we'd really encourage you. These are unique opportunities to come into a different kind of environment maybe than you've ever been used to, and have the opportunity to talk about Jesus, and maybe even get a few tips on your backswing on the way out the door too. So hope you have a great day, and thanks for being part of this little taping.
Thank you.